Mr Agnew, and then Maria McGuinness again.
Well, Chairman, you know from me you can expect something slightly different on this subject. The title of this agenda item is enough to make every farmer shudder. Let's just look at what it says. Accounting rules and action plans on greenhouse gas emissions and removals from activities related to land use. The word red tape will take on a new meaning. A farmer must assess how much methane his sheep and cattle are emitting and then attempt to remove it. There are digesters, etc. available for animals farmed intensively indoors, but what on earth can the man who grazes animals outdoors extensively do about this? Not for the first time, the Green Lobby are making life difficult for the type of farmers they say they support. One of the biggest emitters of methane in the world are swamps and rainforests. Again, these are two features that the Green Lobby are desperate to preserve. The concept of carbon dioxide removal from farms is utterly ludicrous. Anything that grows on a farm absorbs CO2, and the more of this that is available, the faster the crops and the grass will grow. Despite the dire warnings that the very slightly higher CO2 levels that are now in the atmosphere, compared to 30 years ago, when incidentally it was probably at the lowest it's ever been, despite this, we are not getting the warm, wet winters and the hot, dry summers that all the so-called experts predicted because of these greenhouse gas levels. Today is July the 9th. I have already received on my farm my average July rainfall. And I receive more than the average in April, more in May and more in June. And I am dry in comparison to people in the west of England. Inflicting this nonsensical theory on my country's agriculture department, which is called DEFRA, will probably cause it to collapse. I also have to ask if failure to measure my sheep's methane output will be a cross-compliance issue, and I will have some single farm payment deducted as a result. Perhaps I should invest in a smellometer. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Agnew. McGuinness. Mariad.
Thank you, Chairman. My thanks to Mrs. Girling for a very measured presentation here and for her report. It's hard to disagree with some of what Mr. Agnew said in terms of farmers' reactions to this proposal. My own reaction is bordering on a similar one. I would be quite concerned about the practical implications of what is being proposed here, and I urge colleagues who haven't read the Commission proposal to do so, because it does have huge implications for our work on the CAP reform dossiers. And there is almost a convergence of almost a noose around a neck situation for agriculture here, for good reason perhaps from the Commission side, but it certainly will add to huge complexities and bureaucracy for farmers.
Mairead, that's a very wise piece of advice there for everyone to read this through carefully. Now the Commission representative today is Mr. Holson from the DG Environment.
Thank you. From DG Klima, that is. Thanks for the word. First of all, I'll thank the rapporteur for her great work. It is indeed a hardly accessible file. There's a lot of technical elements to this file and a lot of technical abbreviations that comes from international negotiations. And I think the rapporteur has very well captured some of these, to integrate some of these technical abbreviations in a more comprehensible way. And as was mentioned, I do at urbanization. So thank you for that. When all that is said, I think it's important to stress that this proposal is for a decision on accounting rules. That means it will only apply to Member States' officials and Member State government systems. And it's about accounting rules, which in practice translates into, well, to put it very simple, how Member States do the Excel sheets where they keep track of numbers. There is no political measures and there is no red tape on any farmer in this proposal, just to make it clear. what happens in a political context afterwards is of course open, but this specific proposal is only aligning with Durban on some specific rules for how to put numbers together in a government system. But thank you for all your good comments, and we look forward to future discussion on the file, and thanks.
Bene, ringraziamo.
Thank you very much, Representative from DG Klima. And now I'm going to give the floor back to our rapporteur, Julie Girling, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Picking up on the comments made, clearly there are some issues on forestry which I'm very happy to receive amendments on and discuss further if there's more that we can do in the report. I take the point completely that there are regional differences and we need to make sure that those are covered. Thank you to everyone for their kind remarks. I do, apart from Mr Agnew, of course, but then he's never been kind to me, but I would simply say that DG Klima made the point that this is not about individual farms or landowners accounting, it's about member state governments. And whilst I fully understand that and the logic of that, I also fully understand Mr Agnew's reservations and Mrs McGuinness's reservations that eventually, if that all goes according to plan, this will have an effect on how DG Klima or DG Envy will think and try to organise individual land holding activities. This is almost inevitable. So it does need to be seen in tandem with all of the CAP reports that I know are all very bogged down in at the moment. So I feel that it is my responsibility on behalf of the AGRI Committee to try and keep it as clean and simple, straightforward and uncomplicated as possible at this stage. I've just come from the ENVI discussion and they wish to make it more prescriptive, more complicated and more difficult. So we really have to be very firm on that, which is why my report is quite simple and straightforward. And no doubt we will in the future be discussing this one again when we've got past the basic accounting procedures. Thank you.